This is a Pele Media podcast.
Welcome back to Jurassic Park Minute. Jurassic Park Minute is the fan podcast that chronicles and overanalyzes the classic 1993 film Jurassic Park minute by minute. I'm Kyle.
I'm Brady.
And today we're here to bring you minute number 54 of Jurassic Park. So I know we talked a little bit about New Year's resolutions yesterday. Do you have any other resolutions? We tried to see more movies this year?
I mean, more movies, all of that. Just really enjoy New Year's. It's so cool that, here we are on New Year's Eve. And
This is New Year's Eve today.
That's right,
And speaking
today.
of which, we're going to have a Patreon episode dropping tomorrow. Our top 3 films we're looking forward to in 2017. We did our top favorite films of 2016 last week, and it was noted by Jamie on there that there's a lot of good stuff coming out this next year, potentially really good stuff. So we're just going to kind of go over, listen, have a fun time talking about looking forward to a bright future tomorrow because it is New Year's Eve, and at any minute now,
That's right.
it could be midnight. So.
That's true. Any minute.
Brady, I have to ask you, we haven't talked about this on the show yet. I don't think we've even talked about this in person. Alien Covenant trailer, what's your feelings?
Oy.
Yeah.
I gotta say, oy.
Not feeling it?
Oy. Not feeling it for stupid reasons.
What are the
I'm not
reasons?
feeling it because they can't make them like they used to. And I know that we shouldn't necessarily have to do that. I mean, film evolves just like everything else, and we have to be open to the fact that you're not going to get a movie that has that film grain and that certain, I don't know, just weathered sense to it. I would love to see someone take old cameras, old equipment, old film, and shoot it like that, even old sound equipment, and just see what happens. Kind of like E. Elias Murridge did with Begotten. I think he shot that on like some of the earliest film equipment. And so I would just like to see that applied to an Alien film, to really, 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 if they want to recapture that initial, I don't know, thing that made the original film what it was, they need to go with a little bit further approach like that.
Yeah.
Now, that's a stupid reason, because that has nothing to do with the movie.
Well, a first trailer comes out. It's our first impression of something, and I'm like you. I was not really blown away by the trailer, but going into this, I'm kind of like, I don't know. I've made my love of Prometheus known on the other show. I kind of wanted to go in that direction and see what kind of crazy out there stories could have been told. I didn't necessarily need to see a xenomorph again. I didn't need to go back to the eggs and stuff like that. And it looks like they've made it different enough, but I kind of feel like the same way with Rogue One, they maybe are kind of like investing a lot in people's nostalgia.
Yeah,
and I'm kind of scared of that because while I like all that stuff, I want new stories. I want it to broaden. I want to have lots of more Alien movies, and in order to do that, we need to get away from the same formula that we've had a few times. The scene which we see at the very beginning, the backburster scene, I have heard from multiple sources that have seen that full scene that it is as intense as anything that has ever been in the Alien films.
I can
so they're
imagine
kind
it would
of
be.
giving us a little bit of a hint that like this is not going to be a safe movie. This is going to be a very gory movie.
Yeah. I'll give you this. As I've said before, I'm not a fan of Prometheus. This movie looked like a sequel to Prometheus.
It did.
Like, I think you're going to get the Prometheus sequel. Maybe not the one you wanted, but I was disappointed when I heard that because Prometheus didn't really get a huge critical acclaim or
Right.
anything, that they were going to be like, okay, well, if we're going to make a follow-up to this whole thing, let's go in the Alien direction and abandon Prometheus a little bit. And I said, that's not fair to Prometheus.
Right.
Much as I didn't like the movie, you can't do that.
Yeah. I agree. I'm like, if something doesn't work the first time, that's okay. You take another crack at it. But and I don't want to get into it. Knowing what this movie is, it is absolutely a sequel to Prometheus and a prequel to the Alien films in the meantime. But I just want to talk about that with you because it's funny because an Alien trailer dropped. You and I didn't spend Christmas together, so we didn't immediately come out and start talking about it. But I'm looking forward to more trailers for that because I think it's going to show that it is definitely a broader look at that Alien universe and some really cool stuff is happening in it. So
Definitely.
Yeah. But speaking of Jurassic Park, how do you like that for a segue? Just straight up going to the other thing. So enough about that. You want to go ahead and get minute number 54?
Well, let's do it.
In the previous minute, Ellie dug through dino dung in order to find out the source of the dinosaur sickness. As the minute ended, we saw that the storm was picking up intensity. At minute number 54, Gennaro insists that everyone get moving. Ellie states that she would like to stay with Jerry and look into why the Triceratops is sick. Jerry tells her that he has a gas-powered Jeep. Jerry tells everyone that he can drop Ellie off before he gets to the boat. Ellie tells Grant that she will see him later as she goes back to check on the Triceratops. As she bends down to look at its mouth, lightning crashes in the distance. At 54:33, we cut to a shot of water crashing on breakers. The storm is getting stronger. At 54:39, we cut to a shot of Nedry's desktop where he is watching video feed of his contact on the boat talking on a phone. The guy on the phone says that there's nothing he can do, and that when the captain says the boat has to go, they have to go. At 54:45, Nedry tells the contact that he has to give him the time. Nedry tells him that on a test run, he was able to make it to the boat in 20 minutes, and that he may be able to push it to 18 minutes. Nedry begs for a 15-minute window. The contact of the boat says no promises, and hangs up the phone. Nedry looks in the location of Hammond as he sweats. And thus ends minute number 54 of Jurassic Park. Okay, so I know you have a lot of notes you want to get to, so I'm pretty much going to give you the floor on this one to talk about stuff you want to talk about. So without further ado, go ahead.
All right. Well, this one kind of starts where the last minute left off.
Right.
And that is, I love how we get Nedry's computer, and it's got all the tech jargon on it, all the details of everything that he's doing that we're not supposed to understand. We see his fingers clicking really fast at a keyboard, and that's all we're supposed to see. And all of a sudden, for the idiots in the audience, there's a big flashing red, dangerous-looking button that says execute. And it's like, all right, everybody, we're just going to spell it out, just right here in layman's terms. Now, whenever he hits that, they immediately cut to the group, the endorsement team out in the field, and the thunder strikes. And it scares them all. Now, the timing of this with the music and everything that's going on, when I was a kid, I always thought when he hit execute, it triggered the sound of the lightning. Uh-huh. And then I was like, got older, and I was like, okay, well, that's ridiculous. In the book, when I finally read the book, I think they say something in there about how they have sound systems speaker systems throughout the park that will play sounds and things like that, if I'm not mistaken. And so now I'm thinking they could have had these speakers in these trees. He hits it and it shocks everybody
fake storm.
to get everybody back in the car. Now, obviously, that's not really happening, but I was like, wasn't that far off. But also, I'm wondering if the footage of the storm is stock footage or if that's stuff they actually got when
I think it's actual footage.
Yeah, when the storm hit
because
the island.
The storm hit the island. Have I told you the story about the Kathleen Kennedy carrying this stuff story?
Yeah,
I did.
times,
Okay, yeah. Let me tell it to you again. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we all know that while they were shooting this movie in Hawaii, they were hit by a huge storm. Mm-hmm. And I think it was a funny story. Like they had to go to an airport for shelter.
And a hotel or something like that.
Steven Spielberg's like in the airport. Maybe I'm thinking of a different story. And a guy comes up and introduces himself to Steven Spielberg, and he's like didn't recognize the guy at first. And then the guy was like, "You don't know who I am?" He's like, "No." He's like, "I'm Jacques Lindsay. I played Jacques Lindsay."
No kidding.
And Indiana Jones,
I've
the
never heard of
pilot
this.
at the very beginning that flew him off was just in vacationing on Hawaii and saw Steven Spielberg and thought he'd go up and talk to him. He didn't recognize who he was.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, but
That's
anyway,
awesome.
go ahead.
Oh, well, then, we cut to Nedry. We cut to Nedry talking to the guy on the boat on his computer, and they didn't hide it. Now, granted, at the time, QuickTime video player was probably not something anybody was going to catch this on, but they should have had sense enough to know to hide this. Whenever they're showing the security cam footage of the guy on the boat, you see the QuickTime status bar or whatever you call it moving across the video clip. And it is just so, come on, man, y'all could have hid this.
Do you remember our first computer? It was
It was like IBM
PS1.
Wave, something like that, yeah.
Which is funny because they made a PlayStation 1 later with the same numbers. I always talk about the PS1 we had. And anyway, do you remember the software that came pre-installed on it, the QuickTime software? And it was a music video.
Yeah, we've talked about this.
Yes.
Tentacles of Love or something.
Octopus of Love by the Holidays, which I need to look up.
Yes.
It's an awesome
All right,
song.
listeners, here
so
you
this,
go.
So this clip was pre-installed on our computer. It was just like a 30-second clip of this song by this band called The Holidays. And the name of the song was called Octopus of Love. And we would just play that clip over and over again because there was no such thing as music on computers. There was no MP3s at this point. This must have been 1995, I think, when we got our first computer. A pre-internet computer. But yeah, we'd listen to that 30-second clip of that band over and over again.
I loved it. And then the computer crapped out, and then I could not find it for years. And then finally found it again years later. It's a rocking song. But so anyway, we get Nedry talking to the guy on the boat, and it makes you think that Dodson's plan, it gives a little more scale to it. Makes it feel a little bit bigger of an operation because he's got multiple people in the engine company, carrying this out. Nedry, guy in the boat, blah, 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 blah.
Right, yeah.
And so I've always found that interesting. And then what the guy on the boat must have been thinking when Nedry never showed up. And I don't know. That's how Dodson received that news that this wasn't going to go as planned and Nedry is just nowhere to be found. Probably forever. I don't know that they ever went back to that. So...
the little status bar might be something that, if you were into computers or whatever, you might notice. But it's really funny because you can actually see the mouse button is over where the play button would be, the play pause button on there. So off screen.
Oh my God.
What is
it's
it?
about to be New Year's.
Oh my God. You ready?
Oh
Okay.
shit, yeah.
Ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! Woo! We did it, everybody. We made it.
You are my octopus of love. Octopus of love. Octopus, octopi. You're the reason why. Feel so bad, feel so good. Swimming in your neighborhood. Swimming in your neighborhood. I've got a girl who's got 8 arms, wraps them around me, she holds me tight. I've got a girl who's got 8 arms, wraps them around me, squeezes me right. You are my octopus of love, octopus of love.